7:45 and time for the Rambler, presented each morning, Monday through Saturday at this time by Eastern Airlines.
Well, a good morning to you on the 6th of June of 1959. As for the weekend weather, partly cloudy with more of those scattered afternoon and evening thunder showers. A high in the upper 80s, variable winds up to 12 miles per hour, but higher near the thunder showers. So it could be better and it could be worse. Right now it's 73 at the airport and 77 at the beach. The complete weather report and readings from across the nation at the end of the sports news. The 5th Street Bridge over the Miami River is out of commission at the moment for vehicular traffic. One span is up in the air, and how long it will take to repair it, not known at this time. So do please avoid that part of town, as your presence could only lead to a traffic jam. The many police departments reported a busy night, but nothing of real import. However, they said they had to put up barricades all over the area, mostly because of the water, and in a couple of instances because of trees which were blown down by that storm. Damage from last evening's blow, however, was really negligible, but the winds at the front edge of the blaster caused many traffic lights to go out. House power also suffered, but not too badly, and the water caused the closing of many intersections as usual. In fact, some homeowners were complaining water was in their living rooms. With the precipitation last night, we have now counted nearly 6 inches of rain in 5 days. The average rainfall for June in the greater Miami area, 8 and 82/100 inches. So a couple more downpours and we may very well set a new record. The rains could bring on the mosquitoes, but they also make for cool nights for sleeping, so 'tis an ill wind, etc. Genial Mike Fox, the police chief at Miami Beach for the past 2 years, is going to continue after the city council overruled city manager Morris Lipp 5-2. The rather warm session also brought some differences of opinion between the city fathers themselves, and also a promise that B-girls and clip joints on the beach would be rigorously fought. Otherwise, the regular reappointments were made and accepted by the councilmen, 4 of whom were elected last Tuesday. More local news in a moment, but hear this first. Fly Eastern Airlines' new deluxe day coach for luxury at low, low fares. You fly in the latest beautifully appointed airliners, your seat reserved in advance. Delicious hot meals are served with Eastern's compliments, and your choice of beverages is available on all deluxe day coach flights. You enjoy the friendly, courteous service of Eastern's flight attendants as you relax high above the clouds in complete comfort and confidence. Eastern's million-mile pilots are at the controls. Now, for the first time, this incomparable comfort and luxury is available at low, low coach fares aboard the new Eastern Deluxe Day Coach. Complimentary hot meals and reserved seats are included in the price of your ticket. Beverages are served at economy prices. So enjoy a deluxe flight at coach fare. Fly Eastern's Deluxe Day Coach. Now you can fly Eastern's Deluxe Day Coach non-stop Miami to Chicago for only $58.60 plus tax. For reservations on Eastern's Deluxe Day Coach, call Eastern Airlines or your travel agent. All flights depart and arrive at Eastern Airlines Terminal on Northwest 36th Street, right here in Miami. Miami City Manager Ira Willard has ordered a strict enforcement in all building laws, especially in the several Negro sections. The move comes on the heels of the loss in the legislature of any opportunity to bring urban renewal to Florida. Urban renewal, in case you don't know, is a federal state-local program to rid cities and towns of slum areas. Our state constitution prohibits its use. Willard said, for instance, that where substandard housing is involved, owners would be permitted only to make patches and not to rebuild completely. The idea is that sooner or later the buildings would get to a point where they could be condemned and have to be replaced. 69-year-old James Fleming of the Northwest section was killed last night and his wife seriously injured when their car went out of control at Venice, Florida, and struck a pole. An investigation into what has been called a theft ring for cars has brought the resignation of former Metro Auto Theft Chief Murray Weiss. Weiss said Friday his forced resignation was strictly political. However, Sheriff's internal security men said it wasn't so. The ring has been reportedly taking smashed-up cars, repainting and rebuilding them, changing serial numbers, then selling them in regular channels. Just who is in it and how many are involved is not stated at this time, but officials said the investigation was only getting started. The Teamsters claim 261 employees of the South Florida State Hospital up at Hollywood have voted to strike. The count, they said, showed 52 against a strike. The ballots were mailed by the Teamsters to 423 employees, and the 319 returned were unsigned. They were counted by a notary public working in the office of Teamsters attorney Harold Shapiro. Superintendent Arnold Eichert of the hospital said the figures sound ridiculous, and he doesn't see how anyone can trust the validity of unsigned ballots of the sort. A Teamsters official said a strike will not necessarily be called. The first concert of the University of Miami Summer Symphony, better known as the Pops, opens at the Miami Beach Auditorium tomorrow night at 8:30. Conductor D'Artega has assembled a fine group of professional musicians who will play favorites and excerpts from Oklahoma, The King and I, and Blossom Time. Featured artists will be Irene Patty, soprano, and Frank Campins, tenor. They'll be heard in solo parts and in duets from other Broadway shows. If you've never attended the university's pop concerts, you've missed a lot of fun. And, of course, a lot of fine music, too. The first of 10 Pops programs tomorrow night at 8:30 at the Beach Auditorium. Things were nice and quiet in the east wing of the maternity section of Mercy Hospital last evening when your Rambler walked down the hall, but that didn't last too long. The lights were turned on in the nursery, and then things began to happen. The newly arrived boys and girls set up a howl, and not one seemed insufficient in lung power. It's a great sight to see these new citizens, each in his own bassinet, each with a little identification tag on his wrist, and each moving as though he meant to get going right away. Among that group was Mark Steven Griffin, who weighed in at 7 pounds 2 ounces. Mark is the first child to join his mother, Marilyn, your Rambler's older daughter, and his father, Forrest Griffin. The new mother was as pretty as all new mothers are. The new father was still in orbit. The new grandmother fussing around like new grandmothers do. And the grandfather, oh, he's just about as proud as can be. So to Mark Steven Griffin, may he grow as sturdy and as lively as your Rambler's other 2 grandsons, who are all boys, believe me. And one other thing, I'm sure glad it's all over. The legislative session is all over for 1959, too, but the memory lingers on. For instance, Florida is keeping to its moderate course in dealing with racial problems after a session which heard much talk but took no strong action on integration. The legislature adjourned, leaving more than 500 bills, most of them of a local nature, for Governor Collins to act on. In the big pile of bills are 5 dealing with the racial problem, and all of them are mild. There also is a bill levying $14 million in added sales taxes and spending bills totaling about $714 million for the next 2 years. 2 racial bills almost overlooked at the closing rush were pulled out of committee by the Senate and quickly passed. One would add to Florida's pupil assignment law certain criteria taken from Alabama's Pupil Placement Act, which can be used by county school boards as a basis for assigning pupils. The criteria include a child's home environment and potential influence on classmates. The other bill would allow a parent to withdraw a child from an integrated school without violating the compulsory attendance law. A Negro attempting to enroll his son in West Palm Beach white schools says still more Negro children will try to enter in September. William Holland said he had requested and received 6 pupil assignment forms from the Palm Beach County School Board. Since 1956, Holland has carried on lawsuits to transfer his son William Jr. from a Negro school to the all-white Northborough School. In international news, Western officials at Geneva are talking about setting a time limit to the Big Four Foreign Ministers Conference in an effort to force it to a point of decision. The negotiations on the future of Berlin appear stalled at the end of 4 weeks of sparring in private and public sessions. It's thought Russia will make a rock-bottom offer for a Berlin agreement and a summit meeting in the last 48 hours of the conference. An East German communist official has warned that West Berlin may be blockaded temporarily if the West German presidential election is held in that city. The veiled threat comes from Gerhard Eisler, who formerly lived here in the States and is now an East German propaganda official. Soviet Premier Khrushchev has arrived back in Moscow after a 12-day visit to Albania and Hungary. The 15th anniversary of the June 6th D-Day Allied landings in Normandy in World War II was marked today with French, British, and American services along the 30-mile invasion coast. Scores of former GIs visited Omaha and Utah beaches to look over the old battlegrounds. Your Rambler can never forget D-Day. I did a Man on the Street program on Flagler Street, and as the question was asked, how do you feel about the invasion, answers ran from cheerfully spoken, well, let's hope it works, to non-committal so what to, what do you mean, an invasion of Europe? Yes, an experience I'll never forget. President Eisenhower is spending a quiet day at his Gettysburg farm home in Pennsylvania in dramatic contrast with 15 years ago when he had to make the nerve-wracking decision to go ahead with the invasion plan. 22 persons were injured last night when a race car smashed into the bleachers of a speedway outside St. Joseph, Missouri. 21 of the injured, many of them children, hospitalized. In the sports world, Miami 6, Buffalo 4, Havana 4, Rochester 1, Toronto 4, Columbus 3 in 11 innings, Richmond 5, Montreal 4. Columbus and Buffalo tied for first place, Rochester in third spot, Richmond in fourth, and the Marlins in fifth place this morning, but only by 1 percentage point. That even though they won last night. Buffalo at the stadium this afternoon at 2 o'clock. In the National League, Chicago Cubs 10, Pittsburgh 5, Los Angeles 5, Milwaukee 1, Cincinnati 7, San Francisco 2. The St. Louis-Philadelphia game rained out. Milwaukee 2.5 games ahead of San Francisco, Pittsburgh 3rd, Los Angeles 4th. In the American League, the Yankees 11, Indians 2, White Sox 5, Red Sox 2, Tigers 7, Senator 6, Orioles 6, the Athletics 1. Chicago a game and a half ahead of Cleveland, Baltimore 3rd, Kansas City 4th. Our WCKR listeners last night heard British Empire middleweight champion Dick Tiger battle to a draw with Rory Calhoun. It was a hard-fought 10-rounder for sure. The world record in the javelin throw was shattered last night at the Compton Relays out in California. Al Cantello of the Marines threw the spear 282 feet, 3.5 inches. That's 1 foot, 1 inch better than the recognized world mark. In golf, Gene Littler has a one-stroke lead going into the third round of the Eastern Open at Baltimore. He has a 132. Betsy Rawls has the lead in the women's professional round robin at Summit, New Jersey. She has a point score of 33. I'll be back with the weather for the weekend in 1 minute.
Here it comes. There it goes. It's Eastern Airlines' all-new Golden Falcon Prop Jet Electra. Eastern offers you more than a new plane, more than a new service. It's a brand new experience in flying. Built by Lockheed, powered by General Motors, the Golden Falcon Electra cruises easily at well over 400 miles an hour. In its luxurious interior, you enjoy a new kind of smoothness. Quiet, vibration-free. You'll enjoy new time-saving convenience on the ground, too. You may carry your baggage on and off Eastern's new Electra if you wish. After landing, the self-contained boarding ramp lowers in just seconds, and you're on your way. Enjoy this whole new experience in air travel. Fly Eastern Airlines Golden Falcon Prop Jet Electra.
Fly Eastern's long-range jet-powered Golden Falcon Electra for the fastest service non-stop Miami to Chicago. Eastern's Electra offers all first-class luxury, including complimentary meals and champagne, at no extra fare. Seats are available now, but do call Eastern Airlines or your travel agent for reservations. All flights depart and arrive at Eastern Airlines Terminal on Northwest 36th Street, right here in Miami. Weather, partly cloudy through tomorrow with scattered afternoon and evening thunder showers. High today 85 to 90, low tonight 72 to 76. Variable winds 5 to 12 miles per hour, except briefly higher in the showers. Seas less than 2 feet and the bay smooth, becoming very choppy near the showers. The airport temperature 73, at the beach at 77. Winds west at 5, barometer 29.94, humidity 98%, the surf 82 degrees and the sea is quiet. Now the early morning weather reports from across the nation. Boston 60, partly cloudy. New York 61, Washington 65, Detroit 64, Cleveland 69, all clear. Chicago 67, partly cloudy. Minneapolis 70, St. Louis 66, Denver 60, all clear. Los Angeles 64, Anchorage 57, Honolulu 76, all partly cloudy. A warm, humid weather blanket is wrapped up over vast areas east of the Rockies today. However, it's mostly fair in the northeast and mid-continent, cloudy on the west coast. For Florida, no change in the weather pattern. Partly cloudy this afternoon, evening thunder showers through tomorrow. So for South Floridians, a pretty nice weekend considering. Madam Tina peered into her crystal ball up at Warwick, Rhode Island, but it failed to tell her one important thing, that somebody was going to walk off with that same crystal ball. Now, Madam Tina is asking the police to find it. And a look into my crystal ball shows that Eastern Airlines is the way to go from here to there. So call Eastern for reservations to anywhere in the world.
Rambler, brought to you each morning at this time by Eastern Airlines. Listen mornings, Monday through Saturday at 7:45 when Eastern Airlines presents The Rambler.